Well, the stalemate at COP30 seems to revolve around finance, trade measures, fossil fuel commitments, and institutional trust. And to give us some context, we have with us Erik Solheim. He's the former head of the UN Environment and now President, Europe Asia Center, and Nitin Bassi, a fellow counsel on energy, environment, and water. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us. Mr. Solheim, there's a deep divide we can see over climate finance. The developing countries want some sort of a binding plan. Is there a middle ground, you see, that you can ensure the resources actually reach for adaptation and mitigation to take place?
I think in reality the issue is a bit different. It's not mainly about finance, it's mainly about seeing the opportunities. Look, the two giants of the global south, China and India, are seeing the opportunities in the green economy. And they're just moving ahead. They're not depending on global negotiations, they're just making the decisions. I mean, China, just in May this month, added 93 gigawatt of solar energy to the grid. That's much, much more than the grid in most nations. Very recently in the state of Andhra Pradesh of India, I visited Greenco's new facility. That's 6.5 gigawatt, enormous solar, wind, and hydropower as pumped storage. This is what's transforming the world. Actions on the ground by the leaders of the global south and by business, not the talks in places like Berlin.
All right, Mr. Bassi, is there a mechanism or mechanisms in place to deal with, there are certain non-tariff barriers like carbon border taxes that make it difficult for countries to trade, and these taxes don't seem to meet the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities.
I mean, it's true that such single kind of a pushed agendas can impact the trade that happens between the countries. What I would like to emphasize is that global south, or specifically India, we still continue to make headway when it comes to going green and moving towards the green energy transition. So I will just like to further firm up what the previous speaker said. We have been making a lot of investments. Our solar installed capacity has already reached about 127. India has been able to reach its 50% clean energy installed capacity well before 2030, the commitment that was made. Now, this COP was supposed to be the COP of action. This COP was supposed to be a COP which would have generated interest among the countries to ensure that there is a public funding worth $40 billion for adaptation. Yes. So this is something we are still awaiting, because the final text from the COP presidency is yet to be out, and it is expected sometime later today.
Indeed. Mr. Solheim, given the lack of consensus on phasing out fossil fuels, what best can be done to ensure energy transition? And, is that goal of 1.5 degrees achievable by phasing down, not phasing out fossil fuels?
Fossil fuels will never be phased down based on global agreement in climate talks. Fossil fuels will be phased down by those companies who are now developing the solar energy. Look, solar energy is now the cheapest energy anywhere in the world. If you switch from coal to solar, it's not a cost. You don't need to be compensated for it. It's an economically viable solution. You save money. The Adani Group in the state of Gujarat of India, they are now making solar with battery storage, and that's cheaper in Gujarat than coal. So the switch from coal to solar will not happen because of global talks. It will happen because of the economic benefit of doing this. It's the cheapest solution. If you want to grow your nation, if you want to be energy independent, well, you go solar, because the sun is everywhere and it's the cheapest energy.
So you continue to emphasize on costs and making costs come down, and that will make things viable. But Mr. Bassi, how can COP30's disruption and the stalled negotiations be transformed into an opportunity to strengthen trust, transparency, accountability in this UNFCCC process? And if it fails, will that mean, the beginning of the death of the COP process?
First of all, I think there is a need to acknowledge that Global South itself has been able to do much more than they are made up to show. India and China being the examples of how we are leading towards a strong climate action. And what I also understand that along with other countries, I mean, for your information, about 140 plus countries have already started on the national adaptation planning, and India is among one of them. So for the climate action, both from the mitigation and adaptation purpose, we have started working. Now, the commitment on behalf of the global north or developed nations still has to be realized. And if those commitments are not realized, then unfortunately, the net zero target that many of the global south countries see, for example, India has said 2070 as a vision for the net zero. Another developed nation has 2050, and they have been asked to even reach before that. So if the finance is not made available on the table, if there is
Right.
no money to drive such processes, the action, unfortunately, it won't lead to longer benefit. But I think the COP process will continue. The countries will keep on negotiating till they get what is expected and what they deserve from it.
I'm afraid that's all the time we have for in this discussion. Thank you very much, Mr. Solheim and Mr. Bassi. Thank you for putting this into context for us during this bulletin where we focused a little bit on the COP30 stalemate.